Welcome to California Bar Prep, your study companion for the California Bar exam. In this lesson, Trusts Overview. Let's begin. Trusts essays ask whether a trust exists, what type it is, who benefits, what duties the trustee owes, and what remedies follow from breach. California trust law is governed largely by the California Probate Code. The subject overlaps with wills, community property, remedies, and professional responsibility. A trust separates legal title from beneficial ownership. The trustee holds and manages property for beneficiaries, or a valid charitable purpose. The settlor creates the trust. The beneficiary enforces it. The court supervises when necessary. On the bar exam, never assume a trust exists just because someone used trust-like language. Identify intent, property, purpose, beneficiary, trustee, and formalities. California recognizes express trusts, charitable trusts, resulting trusts, and constructive trusts. Express trusts arise from intent. Resulting and constructive trusts are remedial or implied devices used when equity requires. Revocable living trusts are common in California estate planning and frequently appear in essay facts involving pour-over wills, amendments, incapacity, and family disputes. Creation of express trust. A trust requires a settlor with capacity, present intent to create a trust property, a lawful trust purpose, and an identifiable beneficiary, unless it is charitable or otherwise accepted. A trustee is needed for administration, but a trust generally will not fail for lack of trustee because a court can appoint one. Trust intent. The settlor must manifest intent to impose enforceable duties, not merely express a wish, hope, or moral request. Precatory words alone are usually insufficient unless context shows mandatory intent. Trust property. There must be identifiable trust res. A promise to create a trust in the future is not enough unless supported by contract principles. Future property generally cannot be held in trust until acquired, but a present assignment of an existing interest can work. Beneficiaries. Private trust beneficiaries must be definite or definitely ascertainable within the rule against perpetuities and administrative limits. Charitable trusts need not have definite individual beneficiaries because the Attorney General or other proper party may enforce the public charitable purpose. Inter vivos trust. Settlor has capacity and intent. Trust property is transferred to trustee or settlor declares herself trustee. Trust has lawful purpose. Beneficiaries are identifiable unless charitable. Any required writing is satisfied, especially for real property or testamentary transfers. Testamentary trust. Created by will and must satisfy will formalities. Comes into existence at death. May be funded through probate assets. Pour-over gifts to an existing trust are commonly validated by statute if requirements are met. Revocable trust. In California, a trust is revocable by the settlor unless expressly made irrevocable for trusts governed by modern rules. While revocable and the settlor has capacity, duties are owed primarily to the settlor. After settlor's death or incapacity, beneficiary rights become more important. Charitable trust. Must have a charitable purpose, such as relief of poverty, advancement of education or religion, promotion of health, governmental or municipal purposes, or other community benefit. Indefinite beneficiaries are permitted. Cypres may modify the trust when the specific charitable purpose becomes impossible, impracticable, or illegal if the settlor had general charitable intent. Trust versus gift. A gift transfers ownership to the donee. A trust imposes fiduciary duties on the trustee for beneficiaries. If a person says, "I give this account to Dana to use for my children," analyze whether Dana receives outright ownership or holds as trustee. Trustee versus beneficiary. The trustee has legal title and fiduciary duties. The beneficiary has equitable interests and enforcement rights. A person may be both trustee and beneficiary, but sole trustee and sole beneficiary merger can terminate the trust because no separation remains. Mandatory versus discretionary trust. A mandatory trust requires distributions under stated terms. A discretionary trust gives trustee judgment over whether, when, or how much to distribute. Even with discretion, The trustee must act in good faith, consistent with the trust purpose, and not arbitrarily. Support trust versus spendthrift trust. A support trust limits distributions to support needs. A spendthrift provision restricts voluntary and involuntary transfer of a beneficiary's interest, subject to exceptions under California law, including certain creditors and support obligations. Do not let a trust fail for lack of named trustee. Courts can appoint a trustee unless trustee identity was essential to the purpose. Do not confuse constructive trust with express trust. Constructive trust is a remedy to prevent unjust enrichment. Do not ignore capacity. Creating or amending a trust can require capacity, and undue influence or fraud may invalidate changes. Do not assume beneficiaries of a revocable trust can control the trustee while the settlor is alive and competent. Do not forget trustee accounting, loyalty, prudence, impartiality, and diversification duties. Do not apply cypres to a private family trust. Cypres is for charitable purposes. A common California essay involves a parent creating a revocable trust, naming a child trustee, changing beneficiaries, transferring a home, and later becoming incapacitated or dying. Start with creation. Intent, property, beneficiary, purpose, trustee. Then analyze amendments and revocation under the trust terms and probate code rules. Then analyze trustee duties and remedies. If the trustee uses trust funds personally, discuss breach of loyalty, no further inquiry for self-dealing, surcharge, disgorgement, constructive trust, removal, accounting, and denial of trustee compensation. If the trustee invests poorly, discuss duty of prudence under the prudent investor rule, portfolio approach, risk-return objectives, diversification, and causation. If a charitable gift fails because the named charity no longer exists, discuss charitable trust and precedent. If a private beneficiary dies, discuss lapse, trust terms, remainder interests, and resulting trust only if no beneficiary or purpose remains. Trusts essays reward structure. First, validity. Second, classification. Third, duties. Fourth, breach and remedies. Use the probate code vocabulary, but always apply the facts to fiduciary behavior and beneficiary rights. That's it for this lesson. Download California Bar Prep on the App Store for lessons on all 14 bar subjects, practice questions, and essay frameworks. Keep studying, and good luck on the bar exam.